Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Roy English Talk. My name is Mia, and I'm so happy to be with you again. In today's episode, we're going to talk about something that might just change the way you see yourself, your future, and your power to shape your life. The topic is, you become what you think. They say your thoughts create your reality. But what if that wasn't just a motivational quote? What if it was a scientific fact? Think about it. Every action you take, every emotion you feel, every decision you make begins with a thought. One single idea can build empires or destroy them. Now pause for a moment. What have you been thinking about lately? Are your thoughts filled with doubt, fear, and limitation? Or do they push you toward confidence, action, and growth? Here's a hard truth. You become what you think, whether you're aware of it or not. The stories you silently tell yourself shape the life you live. Still don't believe it? Good. That means you're ready to question everything you've ever assumed about your own potential. Why do some people rise while others stay stuck, even when given the same opportunities? Why does success come effortlessly to some, while others seem cursed by constant setbacks? The difference isn't luck, it's mindset. In this video, we're diving deep into the hidden power of your thoughts, how they wire your brain, influence your choices, and ultimately design your destiny. We'll explore the science behind thought behavior loops, the silent dangers of negative self-talk, and how your subconscious acts like a GPS, leading you toward whatever you're focused on most, whether good or bad. You'll learn how to reprogram your mind using powerful, proven methods, so you're not just reacting to life, but actively shaping it. You'll also hear the inspiring stories of people who changed everything: health, wealth, relationships, by changing just one thing: their thinking. So if you've ever wondered, why do I keep falling into the same patterns? How can I break through my mental blocks? What does it really mean to master your mindset? Then you're in the right place. This video could be the moment everything changes. Because once you understand how powerful your thoughts are, there's no going back. Your life isn't controlled by fate, luck, or talent. It's controlled by your thoughts. And today, we're going to teach you how to take that control back. Number 2, the thought-reality connection. Everything in your external world starts in your internal world. Think about that for a second. The relationships you have, the money you earn, the decisions you make, the risks you take or avoid, they all begin with a thought. If your thoughts are powerful, focused, and constructive, your actions will likely follow. If your thoughts are fearful, scattered, or negative, your life becomes a reflection of that noise. This isn't philosophy, it's cause and effect. Let's look at two people given the exact same opportunity. One thinks, "I'm not smart enough for this. I always mess up." The other thinks, "I'll figure it out. I always find a way." Same opportunity, two realities. One becomes hesitant, self-sabotaging, overwhelmed. The other becomes resourceful, proactive, confident. That's the power of belief. Your thoughts silently write the script of your behavior. Your brain is like a garden. Whatever thoughts you plant, the mind will water. Over time, they grow into habits, emotions, and results. If you constantly think, "I'm stuck," your brain will look for evidence to prove you right. You'll see barriers, not possibilities. On the other hand, if you repeat thoughts like, "I'm learning," "I can figure this out," "This is growth," you'll start noticing the opportunities you once overlooked. Ever heard of the reticular activating system? It's a network in your brain that filters information and decides what you notice. If you're always focused on problems, you'll filter the world to see more problems. If you shift to possibilities, you start spotting solutions. That's why two people can walk into the same situation and experience it completely differently. Their thoughts act like a lens, coloring what they see, how they feel, and what they do next. That lens becomes your reality. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt like you didn't belong, even though no one said a word? That feeling wasn't truth. That was your thoughts. Or maybe you've talked yourself out of applying for a job, speaking your mind, starting a business, because deep down a voice said, "You'll fail, you're not ready, you don't deserve it." That voice, it's not a prophecy, it's a program. And if you've been running the same program for years, you start confusing it for your identity. But let me tell you something radical. Your thoughts are not facts. They are patterns, and patterns can be broken. Neuroscience shows us that our brains are plastic, not made of literal plastic, but neuroplasticity means your brain can be reshaped through repetition and intention. Every thought is a signal to your nervous system. Over time, these thoughts create pathways. The more you think a thought, the deeper the pathway gets. So if your dominant thoughts are negative, self-critical, and anxious, your brain becomes optimized for survival, not growth. But when you start consciously feeding it empowering, hopeful, and bold thoughts, you literally rewire your brain to function differently. You can train your brain to look for solutions instead of obstacles, to take risks instead of hiding, to believe in your worth instead of questioning it. Think of your mind like a thermostat. It sets the temperature for your entire life. If your internal setting is stuck on not enough, your results will always cool down to match it. That's why so many people work hard but feel stuck. They haven't raised the setting. So the question is, what have you been setting your life to? Your income, your relationships, your confidence, it's all reflecting what you believe is possible for you. Most people are walking around with old software installed. Childhood beliefs, past failures, voices from parents, teachers, bullies. And they've never updated the system, but you can. Your mind is programmable, and the first step to changing it is awareness. Start catching those thoughts in real time. When you say, "I can't," ask, "Is that true or just familiar?" When you feel fear, ask, "Is this danger or just discomfort?" You'll be shocked at how much of your life is being run on autopilot scripts that no longer serve you. And here's the most powerful truth. Every thought you repeat is a vote for the future you. So the next time that small voice says, "You're not good enough," you don't have to fight it. Just speak a louder truth. I am becoming stronger. I am learning. I deserve good things. Speak it, think it, repeat it, until your actions begin to reflect it. Because when your thoughts change, your identity changes. And when your identity changes, everything else does too. Number 3, scientific backing, how thoughts shape behavior. Most people think thoughts are just mental noise, harmless, passive, floating ideas that come and go. But that's not how your brain sees them. Every thought you think triggers a cascade of chemical reactions in your brain and body. These reactions influence your emotions, your decisions, your stress levels, and even your health. Let's start with a simple example. Imagine someone constantly thinks, "I'm not safe," or "I'm always under pressure." Those thoughts don't just stay in their head, they activate the amygdala, the brain's fear center. That sends signals to the body to release cortisol, the stress hormone. Over time, their body lives in a state of constant alert. Heart rate increases, immune function decreases, digestion slows. They're not just anxious, they're physically being trained to feel anxious. Now flip the script. Imagine someone who practices gratitude or thinks, I can handle this, or I've overcome worse. Their brain activates the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and logic. It quiets the amygdala. Cortisol levels drop. Their body relaxes. They become more present, more focused, more resilient. One thought, two completely different physiological realities. That's the power of your mind. And it doesn't stop at emotion, it affects behavior. Studies in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, show that when people change their thought patterns, their actions follow. CBT has helped millions of people overcome anxiety, depression, and addiction, not through medication, but by interrupting toxic thought loops and replacing them with constructive beliefs. Your brain also has something called mirror neurons. These are specialized cells that activate when you observe someone else doing something. That's why motivational videos can give you chills, or watching someone achieve something can make you feel inspired. It's your brain syncing up with a new mental state. Now here's where it gets really fascinating: neuroplasticity. For decades, scientists believed that the brain was static after childhood. But now we know it's dynamic. It can change itself. When you repeatedly think a certain thought, you strengthen the neural connection that supports it. That's called Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together, wire together. It's like carving a trail in the woods. The more you walk that path, the easier it becomes to walk again. Eventually, it becomes the default. So if you always think, I'm a failure, your brain builds a fast, automatic road to that belief. But if you start practicing, I'm improving, you build a new road, one that leads to confidence and momentum. Over time, this changes not just how you feel, but how you show up. Your habits shift, your relationships shift. You stop tolerating things you once accepted. Dr. Joe Dispenza, a researcher on mind-body connection, says it perfectly. Your personality creates your personal reality, and your personality is made up of how you think, act, and feel. Change your thinking, and you change your identity. And there's more. Harvard studies have shown that people who visualize success, athletes, performers, students, activate the same neural circuits as those who actually perform the task. In other words, your brain doesn't wait for the real experience to prepare. It builds the path in advance based on your thoughts. This is why elite athletes mentally rehearse every move before stepping onto the field. It's not magic, it's preparation at the neurological level. And it's not just athletes. Visualization is used by CEOs, military professionals, artists, and even surgeons to prime their brains before performance. So what about you? What thoughts are you rehearsing daily? Are you rehearsing doubt, fear, failure? Then your brain is literally preparing for failure. Or are you rehearsing courage, growth, self-respect? Then your brain is getting ready for progress. You are, in every moment, training your brain. And just like going to the gym, you don't see results after one rep, but you will after consistent effort. The best part? It's never too late. Even in old age, the brain is capable of forming new connections. The human mind is resilient, adaptable, and always listening. Your brain is responding to your mental environment, and you are the architect of that environment. So the question is, what are you feeding it? You don't need to fake positivity or deny your struggles, but you do need to become the editor of your internal script. Because if you don't write your thoughts with intention, your past will write them for you. And your past doesn't deserve to control your future. Your brain is waiting for new instructions. The only question is, what will you teach it next? Number 4. Common limiting beliefs and their impact. Let's talk about the quiet killers of dreams, limiting beliefs. These aren't just negative thoughts. They're subconscious rules you live by, often without even knowing it. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good with money. I'm not the type of person who succeeds. These beliefs act like invisible chains. They don't scream, they whisper. They show up in your hesitation, your procrastination, your excuses. And here's the scary part. Most of these beliefs were installed before you were even aware of them. As a child, maybe someone told you, "That's not for people like us," or "You're too sensitive," or "You'll never make it doing that." You didn't question it, you absorbed it. The mind of a child is wide open. It doesn't filter, it doesn't challenge, it accepts. And those early impressions become mental laws. They shape how you see yourself, how much you ask for, how far you think you can go. If you've ever felt like you were self-sabotaging, chances are a limiting belief is running the show. Let's break down a few of the most common ones. 1. I don't deserve success. Deep down, this belief tells you that happiness, love, or abundance isn't for people like you. So even when good things come, you find ways to push them away, or you feel guilty for having them. 2. I'm not enough. This is the root of so many issues. It shows up as perfectionism, people-pleasing, imposter syndrome. You overwork, overcompensate, or over-apologize, trying to earn your worth. 3. If I fail, I'll be rejected. This one keeps people stuck in the planning phase. You dream big, but act small, because failure feels like a personal verdict, not just a lesson. These beliefs don't just shape how you think, they shape what you don't do. You won't start the business, apply for the role, ask for the raise, or leave the relationship, because the voice in your head already decided it's not going to work out. That voice isn't trying to hurt you, it thinks it's protecting you. The brain is wired to avoid pain. So when a belief links risk to rejection or shame, your mind chooses safety over growth. But safety isn't always safe. Sometimes the greatest danger is staying the same. Because while you're trying to avoid disappointment, you're also avoiding joy, purpose, and fulfillment. So how do you break free? The first step is to identify the belief. Ask yourself, what story am I telling myself about what's possible? Who taught me that? Where did it come from? Is it based on facts or just fear? You'd be shocked how many beliefs crumble under direct questioning. One of the most powerful tools is writing your limiting beliefs down and flipping them. For example, change. I'm too old to start. My age gives me experience that others don't have. I always mess things up. Every mistake has helped me improve. People like me don't succeed. Someone like me will be the reason others believe they can. Reframe the narrative, because if you keep repeating an old story, you'll keep living in it. And here's the truth most people miss. You don't need to fully believe the new thought yet. You just need to practice it. At first, it will feel fake, awkward, uncomfortable. That's okay. You're rewiring. Remember, your old beliefs feel true only because they've been repeated for years. That doesn't make them real, that makes them familiar. The brain loves familiarity, but your future demands evolution. If you want to grow, you have to stop letting the past write the rules. And here's the good news. The moment you question a belief, you weaken its hold. That's the crack where freedom enters. Because you were never born with limiting beliefs. You learned them. And if you learned them, you can unlearn them. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are simply a mind in need of new instructions. And those instructions start with this belief. I am allowed to grow. I am allowed to evolve. I am allowed to win. Number 5, reprogramming the mind, tools and strategies. So now that you understand the science and the danger of unconscious thinking, the real question is, how do you change it? How do you reprogram a mind that's been conditioned for years? The answer is simple. Not easy, but simple. You change your mind the same way it was programmed in the first place, through repetition, intention, and emotion. Let's break it down into 5 powerful tools. 1. Thought awareness. Before you can change anything, you have to see it clearly. Most people walk through life completely unaware of their internal dialogue. It's like background music that's always playing, but you never question the lyrics. So here's your first practice. Catch the thought. Don't judge it, just name it. For example, you hear, I'm terrible at this. Pause. Say to yourself, that's a limiting belief. This single shift, naming the thought, breaks its automatic control. You step out of reaction and into consciousness. 2. Pattern interruption. Once you catch the thought, disrupt it. Say something unexpected. Snap a rubber band on your wrist. Use a code word like switch. Anything that stops the spiral. Your brain is like a train. It runs on tracks. And if you don't pull the emergency brake, that train of thought will lead you to the same emotional station: fear, doubt, paralysis. Interrupt the pattern before it gains momentum. 3. Rewriting the script. This is where the work gets creative. Take your negative thought and rewrite it into an empowered one. Not toxic positivity, but truthful, affirming statements that align with who you want to become. I'm a mess becomes, I'm in progress. I can't handle this becomes, I'm learning to manage this moment. The words you say become the blueprint your brain follows. Say them out loud. Write them down. See them often. Because repetition isn't just a tactic, it's how the brain learns. 4. Emotional anchoring. Thoughts alone aren't enough. You need emotion. Why? Because emotions are what imprint memory and create lasting change. When you visualize yourself succeeding, don't just see it, feel it. Let your body experience the pride, confidence, and strength of that moment as if it's happening now. This emotional charge sends a stronger signal to your nervous system. It tells your brain, this matters, pay attention. You're not just thinking it, you're becoming it. 5. Environmental cues. Your mind doesn't exist in isolation. It's constantly shaped by your environment. So ask yourself, what am I surrounding myself with daily? What do I see, hear, and consume that reinforces my identity? Are you scrolling past negativity? Comparing yourself to highlight reels? Listening to voices that drain your belief? Or are you placing reminders, vision boards, affirmations, and books around you that reinforce your growth? Design your space like it's your personal training ground, because what you repeat, you remember. What you surround yourself with, you become. These 5 tools, awareness, interruption, scripting, emotion, and environment, are the foundation of mental reprogramming. But here's the secret most people overlook. You have to commit. Change doesn't happen from inspiration alone. It happens when you show up daily, even when you don't feel like it. That's where the real transformation begins. Not in perfect moments, but in consistent ones. You might still hear the old thoughts. That's okay. You're not trying to erase the past. You're just building a stronger present. Think of it like learning a new language. The old words might still slip out, but over time the new ones become second nature. It won't be overnight, but it will be worth it. Because every time you choose a new thought, you reinforce a new identity. You're not just changing what you do, you're changing who you are. And when that shift becomes real, when your mind stops doubting and starts believing, your entire life rises to meet it. This is the art of reprogramming. It's not just personal growth, it's mental freedom. And the moment you take it seriously is the moment everything begins to shift. So decide right now. What's one thought you're no longer available for? What's one belief you're ready to rewrite today? Because your next level isn't a place, it's a mindset. And it starts now. Number 6, stories of transformation, real examples. Sometimes the best proof isn't in the science, it's in the stories. Let's look at real people who changed their lives by changing their thoughts. Not celebrities or gurus, but ordinary people who rewrote extraordinary futures. First, meet Sarah. For years, Sarah believed she wasn't career material. She worked a job she hated, convinced she was too shy, too unqualified, and too ordinary to do more. One day, while journaling, she realized something terrifying. The voice telling her she wasn't capable wasn't hers. It was her high school teacher's voice. That moment changed everything. Sarah began rewriting her inner script. Every day she wrote, "I am capable, I am learning, I am valuable." At first it felt fake, but with time she applied for a certificate course, then a new job, then another promotion. Today, she manages a team and helps mentor people who once felt like she did. She didn't wait until she was confident. She built confidence by taking small steps powered by better thoughts. Then there's Jamal. Jamal grew up in a neighborhood where success meant surviving, not thriving. By 25, he had already convinced himself that he'd peaked. But one night, he saw a quote that hit him like a bolt of lightning. "You don't have to accept the story you inherited." That line haunted him. He started questioning the narrative he'd lived by. Every day he visualized the man he wanted to be. Not rich, not famous, but calm, confident, respected. Slowly, he started making decisions that matched that image. He quit the job that drained him. He found mentors. He enrolled in night school. His life didn't change overnight, but his mind did. And that change, it transformed everything. Today, Jamal runs a community program for young men, teaching them the same mindset shift that saved his life. And finally, Olivia. Olivia battled chronic illness for years. Her body was exhausted, and so was her spirit. The worst part? She believed it would never get better. Her thoughts became the illness. But during a therapy session, a counselor said something simple but powerful. The body follows the mind. Let's give it a better map. Olivia didn't suddenly think herself healthy. That's not real life. But she did change her internal dialogue. She replaced "I'm broken" with "I'm rebuilding." She added daily visualizations, affirmations, and gratitude. She focused on what she could do, not just what she couldn't. With time and treatment, her health improved. But more importantly, her mindset became her medicine. She now coaches others through illness, sharing how mental strength helps physical healing. Each of these stories shares one common thread. No external change came before the internal shift. These weren't lucky breaks, they were mental pivots. And while each journey was different, they all followed the same pattern. Awareness of the old belief, a decision to challenge it, repetition of a new identity, consistent action. That's what change really looks like. It's not flashy, it's not instant, but it's real. The next story could be yours, and it starts the moment you stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if this works?" Because someone out there is waiting for the version of you that believes again. Not the perfect version, not the fearless version, just the one who's finally done waiting. So ask yourself, what story are you ready to let go of? And what story will you write next? Number 7, conclusion and final message. You've made it to the end of this video, but more importantly, you've made it to the beginning of a new way of thinking. Let's recap the truth we've uncovered. Your thoughts aren't harmless, they are commands. They shape your mood, your habits, your relationships, your income, your health, your entire identity. And the most dangerous thought isn't, "I can't." It's, "This is just who I am," because the moment you believe that, you stop evolving. But here's what you now know. You can choose a new thought, a new identity, a new story. The process starts small. One shift in belief. One better question. One brave decision. And that small shift, it compounds. Before you know it, the person who once felt stuck becomes the person others ask for advice. Not because life got easier, but because you got clearer. So wherever you are right now, know this. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your fear. You are the thinker behind the thoughts. And that means you have power. Use it wisely. Don't just watch videos like this, apply them. Start speaking to yourself with respect. Catch the toxic patterns. Rewrite the script. And remember, you don't have to believe the new thought 100% yet. You just have to be willing to. Because the more you practice, the more you become. You become what you think. So choose thoughts that are worthy of the life you want to live. If this video helped shift something inside you, even just a little, then share it with someone you care about. It might shift something for them too. And if you want more content that helps you think, grow, and rise, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join this journey. Because we're just getting started. Your thoughts create your reality, so choose them on purpose.